interlocking building block system made specifically for your 3D printing and making parts to send them into the stratosphere with Skyblocks. Now, if this is the first time that you've heard about PrintABloks, let me tell you a little bit about them. If you own a 3D printer, chances are you've tried 3D printing your standard plastic interconnecting building block sets, just like Creo or Mega Constructs brands, and you've discovered that they didn't fit. And this isn't necessarily the fault of 3D printers. These bricks are made with incredibly tight tolerances. And so, seeing the need to have a building system that we could use with 3D printing, I invented PrintABlok. That's block with no C, because that was the URL that was available. To use PrintABlok, you take a connector and snap it into one of the holes that have been specially designed to 3D print on the top or bottom or any side of the block, and then snap another PrintABlok into it. And that's it. PrintABlok is a truly 3D building block. You can build up, down, side to side, front to back, and the only limit is your imagination. And while this is certainly where PrintABlok has started, that's hardly all there is to PrintABlok. Besides taking the basic block and extending it to bigger blocks with more connectors that you can plug into, the very first PrintABlok campaign built pieces that you could use to make robots and mechs. These are super fun to play with. The Beast campaign focused on movement and articulation as we created animal-themed sets, like a shark with frickin' lasers on it. And I've even embedded electronic components into blocks so you can use PrintABloks to do rapid prototyping with Arduinos or other basic electronics and use them to make fun, interactive pieces. And where are you going to keep all your PrintABloks? Well, why not make a PrintABloks with PrintABlok connectors all over it so you can store your parts not just on the inside, but on the outside of your box as well. And now PrintABlok are blasting off with Skyforce, detailed components to add wings and engines to make your PrintABlok creations fly. They are a ton of fun to play with. So thanks for checking out my campaign, and I hope that you'll consider helping me build the most awesome collection of interconnecting building blocks for your 3D printer. Thanks so much for watching.
Alright everybody, just wanted to point out 3D Printing Professor's new Kickstarter campaign. He's going to be doing Skyforce for his Printabloks. And if you're not familiar with Printabloks, they're more or less the 3D printing equivalent to Legos. And Joe, he's done a lot of awesome different things to be able to have different interlocking segments and different articulated parts that can just go on. And the new campaign is pretty much geared towards things that fly and launch and have different accessories with those. And so I wanted to help support him while he's trying to get more Kickstarters to help with that. So let's segment over to that, and I can show you some of that now that I've shown you the video. If at any point in time you really like these and you want to start making your own grab bags, I do believe he offers through his Patreon page the ability to print these professionally for yourself if you're doing 3D printing as a business or as a hobby and you're just trying to make some extra income during the holiday season. Pretty sure he started doing that, so hopefully I'm not wrong. But ultimately these are really cool. They've got little pin segments that go into the just the connecting parts, and they just snap on and off as I'm showing. Not the correct way, but so your little Gatling gun rotates. The wheels do move. You do have to have your tolerance pretty good, but as Joe says, that he's made these pretty much for the basic 3D printers that will hardly print. And so if you've got a printer that hardly prints or is just able to print, these should be able to print on just even mediocre 3D printers, which is pretty exciting. I really like them for the Recreator and pet number 1. Ultimately, for each cube to print, you can get 3 or 4 Printabloks, the standard cube, out of a 2-liter soda bottle, which is pretty nice. So on top of recycling and 3D printing new type of Lego interlocking blocks, you're going to be able to just bring new toys into the ecosphere, and I think that's super great that you can now just help the world take recycling product like PET number 1 that we would have never really thought about using in 3D printing, which, you know, I'm sure people have been doing it. We've been doing it since 2019. So to be able to now go full circle and bring that material and product back into little toys and stuff that we can, yeah, the imagination can really be opened up with these. So let me segment out of this while can. And I'd like to talk a little more about the Printablok campaign. Pretty much at any given point you want to get to the Printablok campaign, there's a QR code in the center of the screen, right there. So if you get that QR code with your phone, you can just get instantly to the campaign and start getting your Printabloks. Not too many people find an interest, for whatever reason, that they don't like to print with just 25 grams at a time. Personally, I've been loving it. Again, with the Printabloks, to get back on topic of Printabloks, you can print a lot of these, not a lot at a time, but again, you can get like 3 or 4 parts out of a bottle. I think that's super cool. Right now, 3D Printing Professor, he's got them for certain build plates where you can just load up the one STL that he's got, and it's got everything as a build plate to put together one of these. So I think that's really cool. Just, again, no matter what kind of printer you got, for the most part, he's got a build plate ready to go. You just load it up, print it, and then sit there like you used to do with your Legos and put them together. He's been working on all these amazing little videos that help you build them, which I think is cool. A lot of people have a hard time visually with things, and so these videos are a really great explosion, literally, of all the parts, and showing you exactly where they go and how they attach to each other, which I think is super cool. So these are going to be the new thing that you see in people's stocking stuffers, I think, in the next couple years for Christmas. 3D Printing Professor's done a really great job about advertising and getting them into a package. He had a lot of them over at Murph, from what I've heard, and a lot of people, he wasn't able to attend, but just having his presence there as far as Printablok, a lot of people knew what Printablok was, knew about 3D Printing Professor, and it was just really great to still, have a presence there. I know I wasn't able to go to Murph, but I was able to bring a presence to Murph, and it's really nice to hear back from people who attended that got to still see what we brought to the facility and what we do just as a hobby or profession. So again, it's really nice to have the community involved, and yeah, so again, if you're here and you're fresh, we got 6 more viewers. Please feel free to comment. It helps keep the commentary going. And again, if I can point to the QR code right here at any given point in time, you want to hit the QR code. That brings us to the current 3D Printing Professor's Printabloks Skyforce. Skyforce is the latest and greatest Printabloks, and pretty much they're going to be everything like in the air and rockets and planes, different things. And so if you pledge $100, you can actually come up with what you would like to have created from Printabloks. So if you've got maybe a favorite spaceship that you want from a movie, I had a really hard time trying to come up with some fun and fancy things that whatever $100 will buy you as far as what brings you interests. Maybe you're a Doctor Who fan and you want to see the I can't even think of any of the names from Doctor Who, but if you're a Doctor Who fan, you probably hate me right now. But anything from pretty much anything you're into, if you think that Printabloks could create it, and could be created from Printabloks, pledge $100 and you can have a really fun experience or a custom gift for somebody. That's one of the great aspects of Kickstarter, is to be able to have different pledge options like that bring in different options for people who are creatives that want to try to bring a different experience to the stratosphere. And I think it's really cool. Joe does a really good he does a really good job, especially on Discord, to bring the community aspect into what he does. I know I've put out a few suggestions that he's, you know, really latched onto, and that's made me feel like I'm a part of, you know, what he's got going on, and I'm sure, you know, vice versa. So with that in mind, it's a good kind of branching subject. So 3D printing professor, he also has it's a smaller version of this, and it's called Simon. I pronounce it Simone, and I think that's one of those tomato things, but it's also kind of versatile as far as keeping this gender neutral, where you could have a Simon or a Simone, which I think is pretty cool. So ultimately, again, this is a tiny scale, and I'm making it buddy scale. So this is going to be about 3 feet tall, and everything's articulated. So you can download this now as a small scale. He's got it so that you could put an old photo frame in it, I believe. But I'm trying to put a Windows 10 PC in here. It's actually smaller than this, and this is already broken. Looking for the head. I've lost my head. Alright. So ultimately, we got the head. It's just going to be, again, a Windows 10 PC. And, let's see, yeah. So, I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know if either of us will be attending Earth. I know we're both trying to. Alright. Try to set this aside. And yeah, so if he doesn't make it, hopefully I'll have that, and I'll be rotating some of his videos just so that he's there in spirit. And if he's there and I want the table space, then he's gonna adopt Simone for the day. Simon. So that's something that I really wanted to start doing with 3D printing, is making smaller things larger. A lot of the build plates are small, and you can get into bigger options, which I think is a fun thing to start to do once you've been doing this for, I've been on here for 6 years now. I've made the Recreator, which was another thing I wanted to I wanted to learn more. I wanted to get away from just my comfort zone and start playing amongst all the extra parts and stuff that I had around. So that's what I worked towards. So again, with doing the larger Simone, that really allowed me to bring in some other projects that I wasn't really working on anymore to, recycle the screen, recycle the computer that I'm using, and ultimately the whole concept of Simon is that, I believe, I don't want to butcher it, but it was like a kid who lived at a garbage facility that just took in electronics that he was salvaging and pretty much made a friend, and out of all his disbanded electronics. And I really dug that. I think just amongst doing the Recreator and how I grew up with just recycling, it's just, I learned the story as I was going along with making it, and it only further pushed the aspect that it felt like it was something that I not necessarily should be doing, but I'm really enjoying myself doing it. And so I think the fact that 3D printing professor actually showed enthusiasm towards it and really likes to see his things get built just like anything else. Like, I really love seeing people make the Recreator, and you can bring in your own color scheme to it. Like right now I've got red going on. That's more of a safety aspect. This plate, I ran out of black PETG. I only had red. So, but other people are also bringing their own color schemes into it and really personalizing it. And so I think that's super cool. Again, to go full circle back to Printabloks, you can really print up a lot of different colors. And so you can maybe make all your weaponry silver, maybe bring in a different color scheme going on for factions. If you're maybe doing games and you've incorporated this into your board games, there's a lot of different aspects to what you could do with it. He's brought in alphabets so that you can actually alphabetize, and you can put your name on this. You could put some numbers on it. There's boxes for organization, so you could put the lettering on that for different boxes of maybe, again, weapons, single blocks, double blocks, 4-ups, wheels, all sorts of different things. And because it's 3D printing, you can pretty much make your own. So if you're into customization, I think that's super cool. I would love to see these on Printables.com as a contest. I think that would be super cool, where if Prusia picked this up and had that as a contest, it would super expand Printabloks as a universal 3D Lego. I think that would be awesome. Once people actually get this in their hands, they get excited. There's another Kickstarter campaign that Joe's done called Chibi Moles, and I really would love to see like a Chibi Moles Printablok crossover where the Chibi Moles are, like set in like R2D2, in the different kind of different spaceships and stuff that are coming out. Just, different creativity and remixes and stuff like that, especially once the community's involved, can really just expand things amazingly. So I think that's super cool. Yeah, lads, thanks for kicking around and throwing stuff into the chat. Like, it would make really great board games and stuff like that. You can really bring a lot of different aspects to it. You could change out you could put in a little key figure for a Printablok change out, and you could change out a character's weapons even. So this has a really good expandability for board games, really. Again, you could make different tanks, stuff like that. And let's see if I can get that zoom. There we go. Joe's done a really good job about getting in, I think they're called weebles, but ultimately it's all this articulated detailing. And I put a little, oh my god, what's the product's name? Rub and Buff. Put a little Rub and Buff on here just so that we could actually see all that crazy detail that's going on. And he's done a really great job about just being very articulate with where he started and where he's actually bringing this now that he's been doing it for several years. I think it's really cool to see just revisions and what somebody's doing with a product. They just don't make it and leave it as is. They expand on it and bring it not to its ultimate fruition, but again, having the community involved, it's just so ever expanding after that. So again, if you're just joining us, check out that QR code, and then below I got the Kickstarter just URL that the QR code brings us back to. So if you want to just go and check out that campaign, for $10 you get the latest and greatest Skyforce campaign. For $100 you can pretty much ask Joe to do whatever you want. You're the boss. And so with that in mind, you can come up with a good different project that you want to do. And if he's able to make it for you, then you're the boss. And that opens up all the other campaigns that he's done. I think there's now 3 or 4. But ultimately, again, that's bringing in more value for what he's already sold. He's now going, this is, I think, again, like I mentioned, his, I think, 5th campaign on Kickstarter, so he's very well established. Everything pretty much once it garnishes, I think he's got it going for 15 days, and it's already gotten over what it needs. as far as becoming a populated Kickstarter. So once it actually does finish, everything gets released instantly. That's the good thing about doing digital STLs and a campaign like this. It's pretty much like all the models are just ready to be released. So you don't have to worry about the Kickstarter failing or anything like that. It's pretty much ready to go. And the more that people know about it, the better the campaign does, the better 3D Printing Professor does, the more Printabloks we'll have, and the more different campaigns and projects that we'll see from 3D Printing Professor, which is totally awesome. So again, I just wanted to use this live feed to promote him a little. Been trying to really be humble to people who've brought me into 3D printing, who've mentored me, whose videos I like. Everything I'm doing right now is because of the community. A lot of people have made me feel very welcome, and it's just not stuff I'm used to, so it's been very nice. So yeah, Vlad, if you've got any other questions, you're keeping the chat going. Anybody else here, I appreciate you. It's Saturday for me. Currently it's almost 1. And yeah, I just wanted to show off one of the Recreators doing its thing in the background. It's going medium speed at the moment so that we can just see it doing its thing. Again, we'll probably be back tomorrow, I think. I got another 3 or 4 hours tomorrow. And just where we'll end up on this campaign for now. We'll talk about the... Yeah, we got that guy coming in. Coming in. So it's fun. You know, you can have a different imagination, different things. Joe's been letting his kids play with these a lot lately, and it's just been super fun with what you're able to do with them. Again, got a lot of detail going on in these things. We put a lot of time and effort into them initially, and now just going back full circle. He's going back and he's just adding like rivets and just crazy details. And again, you can print it out as it is. I got just random colors going on, and oh, if I can find it, yeah. You can't really tell by the bottle anymore, but this is just some rub and buff. You know, you get some rub and buff. Just put a little on your fingers with maybe a rubber glove on, and you just go in and you just hit those tiny little details that he's got going on in there, and it just really pops them out. You can see, you know, I just added a little here, and just anything that's recessed and top valued, it's going to hit that top surface and just give it a little oomph, which is nice. You know, you don't really need to go crazy, and you can dry brush these and everything else after the fact, so that's super cool. And ultimately, like, again, because they're so versatile, you can, you know, like top the front mount off here and, you know, put it this way from the front, and we're gonna turn it because this one's got a turn on it, which is cool. So now we can have our little radar detector spinning around instead of our Gatling gun. We can take the sides off here if we wanted to. Put the Gatling gun on the side. You know, we got a little gas tank here or something. Gotta make that move around. Got a bunch of different stuff. You know, so we got like more accessories and stuff like this that can go on the side mounts, go on the top here. You know, we got this top part that actually comes off. That's just like another side branding, and I'm trying to get all these off right now to show you, and it's just falling apart on me. But yeah, so you know, we got different kind of tops and stuff we can add, and I think that's pretty cool because now you can add surface quality to it. If you've got it off, you can brand this with your name. Maybe you've got a different faction going on with like a war game that you're doing. You want to have a different name on it, different color, different, you know, different weapon. He's got different types of connectors that have, you know, varying sides, and then the center rotates, so you got kind of like a fidget wheel, which is pretty nice. think that's pretty cool. And once you start putting these in here for articulation and stuff, you can spin that. And my clips are a little worn down from playing with these a little, but you get the idea. And we got some more wheels in here, and you can just add stuff on like that. Clips are very easy to snap in place and print. Not sure what other parts I got in here, right? Just not a lot going on, but we got another like radar going on, a little satellite dish. So we can snap that on place. Got like a laser tank. Brrr, pew pew pew. And this guy can come in, and you can have a little battle, and pew pew pew. So yeah, I think this is really cool, really awesome way to pretty much got like a roll of filament, and you've got maybe 10 grams left on your spool, and you're just trying to come up with ways to be able to get rid of it. You can just print one of these blocks and kill one of your rolls off, rather than being like, oh, well, what do I do with all my leftover filament? And then you just get sick of it and throw it away or some other thing. So I don't really have any printed out right now, but you know, the PET material really prints up super nice with these. And so if you're now thinking about using your PET material and like, what am I going to use this PET material for? Like, oh, I can print Printabloks. And so now you're bringing a whole other aspect of recycling and small trinket making into your house. And if you've got kids, then that's going to bring a whole other way of just interacting with your kids and having them make toys with you, especially if you've got them like designing for you and stuff like that. Lots of cool stuff. So we got like spaceman heads and a bunch of different things going on. So super excited for Joe, 3D printing professor. Go to Kickstarter, get the Skyforce starter pack, be a boss, give them $100, and get whatever you want from Printabloks printed up. I think that's a amazing opportunity for not a lot of money, really, when it comes down to having a custom toy made to whatever you want, and to be able to have the expandability of Printabloks as far as all the sets. Those open up in the $100 tier bracket. So you can check out the Kickstarter page, 3D Printing Professor. He's got a Discord, he's on Facebook, he's on YouTube, he's on Twitter, he's all over the place. He's on Kickstarter primarily right now for the next umpteenth days. I think there's another, I think it's a 15-day Kickstarter. I think we were on day 2 or 3. So you still got plenty of time to get over there and submit to get some Printabloks. So thanks for being here for the 4 hours that you were here. And thanks for watching some of my build. Checking out my new OBS system that I got, which really allows me to add the QR code and some different kind of support banners for people that I enjoy in the community, as well as my new camera that has zoom capabilities, which is super fun. So yeah, I'm happy to be here for my 4th live stream. It's been fun. Got a little tipsy with my JRT special Surfer on Acid. So if you want to check that out, check out the video in the earlier part. I'll probably be back around tomorrow to put a little more effort into our build beyond promoting Printabloks. I might have a couple other things to talk about. If you've got any suggestions, feel free to hit me up in the Facebook group and let me know that you want me to talk about something in live streaming. And I'll try to do better about making this more active and viable to people before I start streaming. So again, thanks for being here, and I'm going to go get some food. Happy recreating!